Welcome to another Fear podcast. We hit the month of June and we're hitting it hard with zombies. My,
Yay! We're
my
back.
co-hosts, Mark, Keith, Scarlett. Welcome, guys.
The fearless foursome.
Yeah.
Mama's Maiden already in the comment. How you
Yeah.
doing, love? So, how's you guys been? It's been about a month now, I guess. Everybody's
Yeah,
good.
All good.
I feel
All
really
good.
good.
Been good, Scarlett?
Keith,
Yeah.
Keith recovering?
Getting there.
Love to hear it.
Well,
I
we can
have
help
to go
you.
to an orthopedic surgeon next. They got to check some things on my shoulder. I had a checkup on Thursday, and he was doing some things with my arm because there's so much atrophy in my shoulder. And he did some tests, and one of them he had me like put up my arm like this, and then he tried to, I had to push up, and he
Yeah.
pushed down. When he pushed down, my entire arm just like let go, and it was an insane amount of pain. So he's like, "Yeah, so sounds like you may already have a rotator cuff issue or some other thing going on there too that we need to get checked out." So yeah, doctor's appointments are definitely not over for you. So
On the road to recovering, though. On the
Exactly.
road.
all the fun stuff. I'll be able to start swimming July 15th.
Oh, that's gonna be nice.
Well, yeah, 'cause we have a pool. We have a pool, and I can't use it
Mm.
except stick my feet in it. That's about it.
Yep, another month, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
30 more days.
Yeah.
So you guys could see, I did a fancy little background today. Yay! Those are the movies we're gonna talk about. Mark is gonna run the order, and just hop on, guys. If you have comments, if you have things to say about the movie, let's go.
Yeah, come join us. Come join us. We're going to be kicking things off with 28 Days Later. From there, we're going to move on to Shaun of the Dead. And then we'll have a little chat about Zombieland. And then we'll finish up with Train to Busan. So a bit of terror, a bit of comedy, and then a bit of pulling at the heartstrings just to finish the night off. I know.
It gets me every time, and I know it's coming, but it gets me every time. We'll talk about it later.
Right. But yeah, all good. It's been a busy month over here at this side of the pond. Just getting stuff done. Been to see a couple of bands. I bought a bass guitar.
Nice, you did it.
Can't play it yet, but I bought one. So
Nice.
I'm gonna start. But it's all good. Yeah, we're here for horror, obviously. So no, it's all good. All good. No pool here, unfortunately, and even if I did, it's nowhere near warm enough. So okay, kicking things off. 28 Days Later, 2002. 2002. It's just crazy.
Right.
Written by Alex Garland, who also gave us Ex Machina, Annihilation, Sunshine. Guy writes good stuff. Do we have a trailer, Mel?
I'm working on that right now.
Awesome. And
Sunshine is one of my favorite all-time.
Sunshine's such a good movie. Maybe we'll have to add that to our list. Basically, anything
All-time
by Danny
science
Boyle, I'm in. Yeah, for sure. So, obviously, as we were just saying, then directed by Danny Boyle, Shallow Grave, Trainspotting 1 and 2, The Beach, Slumdog Millionaire, Sunshine, the list goes on and on. The man's a genius. Starring Cillian Murphy, way before Peaky Blinders and Oppenheimer and Oscars. A very young.
This was one of his
Cillian
earliest
Murphy.
films, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. See, for a long time I thought he was in Shallow Grave, but he wasn't. I don't know if you've seen Shallow Grave, but I was sure he was in Shallow Grave, but he wasn't. I double checked. Naomi Harris, Brendan Gleeson, Christopher Eccleston, and a lot of other. Obviously, it's predominantly English cast. I think it's a full English cast. Shot over here on the streets of London and the surrounding boroughs. Made for about £8 million, so not massive money. Brought in 84 million in 2002, and it was a British zombie movie, so pretty good, to be fair. Oh,
There's a trailer.
here we go. I love this movie. so eerie.
Reminds me of The Walking Dead.
Yeah. I think.
I absolutely adore the trailer because it doesn't give away.
Tells you nothing. And hooks you straight away.
This is the way a trailer is supposed to be edited and cut. That's like all these new age trailers literally give you the plot line in the 2-minute video.
I'm with you. You don't need to watch a movie if you've seen it in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's something that happens all too often these days, unfortunately. But it tells you, like you say, it tells you nothing. And yet straight away you're like, I really, really want to see this. I was there opening night. I remember it well. Was being a big fan of Danny Boyle anyway. It was destined for opening night. It's a great movie. It's not the funnest of
I saw this one in theaters.
It's not the funnest of watches, let's be fair. It's certainly not the next two movies on the list. It's very grim, it's very graphic, it's very depressing in some respects, but it's also darn good. It's so good. You need to get yourself a Blu-ray copy or a better copy, I would say, for sure, or maybe a stream. It must be available on streaming. I would have thought
it's
somewhere.
not. So
is it not really?
Yes. So I went down the rabbit hole on the streaming thing. So
why?
Apparently, whoever owns the rights to it pulled it from all streaming because they're in the process of creating 28 years later.
They are indeed. Finally, the fans have been heard.
They removed it, and they removed it for one of the reasons of it being such a low quality. And what I read is that they're attempting to do a restoration on it and then re-releasing it in HD.
That would be good. That'd be good.
I've got the set. I've got the 2 in a Blu-ray double pack, and I have to admit the quality's fine. It's
I need to find
very,
the
very, very good. Yeah.
I looked at the DVD. The DVD is the 2003 copy of the DVD.
Yeah.
It was like when it first came out,
basically.
And I don't really have like amazing DVD players. Like I have like PS5, PS2, in the house. I can play DVD and stuff like that. So it just came very, very, very low quality. I remember it having Scarlett start to sit through it. She passed out within 30 minutes.
It's a grainy, gritty movie by nature anyway, so you take that into account, and then the quality maybe not there that you're looking for. And the thing is, if you're playing it on a machine that is of a higher spec, it's going to expose all the flaws, isn't it? That's what happens.
Right. I think that was the issue, and she's of a generation now that's so used to high quality content and everything, even your everyday videos that you see on YouTube, shorts and stuff like that of content creators. This is something that didn't really make her scared.
That's my boy. So two of my friends are they've just taken a few days away. They've gone to Morocco for one of them's 40th, so they must have just arrived and hit the all-inclusive bar. One of my guys. I love him. Okay, so 28 days later, for those who haven't seen it, starts with a group of activists freeing caged monkeys, thinking they're doing the right thing. Animals being treated poorly, treated badly is never a nice thing, obviously. Unfortunately for them, they were completely unaware that these monkeys have been infected with something called rage, which is a genetic virus that spreads rapidly and turns anyone who comes into contact with it into a... it is a zombie. They never used the word zombie in it. They say it's not a zombie, they're just infected, but it essentially it is.
It doesn't take much time for them to turn, though, compared to other movies where, it's...
Yeah. Right, rage zombies, like as soon as you are bit, it's like 30 seconds and you're time.
Do you know? So, interestingly, Zack Snyder gets all the plaudits for the Dawn of the Dead remake and the Fast Zombies. This came out 2 years earlier. This came out 2 years before Dawn of the Dead. So, that's not the...
Scarlett, can you mute? Because you guys are in the same room, eh?
Is that what that echo is?
Yeah, it's the echo.
Yeah. So although Snyder gets the plaudits, and that was a fantastic remake, Danny Boyle did it about 2 years before. And then, of course, you've got a very young Cillian Murphy, waking up in a hospital. And there's nothing, like you say, very much Rick from The Walking Dead waking scenes. He comes around. There's nothing around the London. London is completely derelict, which I believe they had to film over several mini takes at sort of 6, 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning because there was no one there. And
They were just trying to film whenever people weren't there, which in London it must have been crazy.
No, exactly. So to this day, I can't believe they did it, but they did. And then he seeks out family, seeks out refugees, seeks out who he's looking for. He meets Selena and Mark, ironically, and they go on their way. And then obviously they bump into Brendan Gleeson's character, whose name escapes me, Frank, and Hannah, and that's when things really sort of rocket up. That's when things escalate, and then they're heading for what they think is paradise and a safe life. And when they meet a troop of British Army soldiers, they think they're safe, but not really. Without spoiling anything, because as usual, guys, we're going to spoil these movies up the wazoo tonight. So it doesn't quite work out for them as you would think. This film is broken down into quiet parts and just erratic panic. You have nice parts where they have conversations in the cab and they find apples and everything's nice. Next thing you know, it's just sheer blood and thunder panic and running for your life because these rage-infected people are moving at a mile a minute and they're just chasing you down constantly.
But it's one of the zombie movies that feel real. It feels like it could happen that way. You know what I mean? It's not over exaggerated. It's not. It's scary, and the reaction they have is on point.
Yeah, for sure.
Not knowing what's going on, and
exactly. Yeah, it's not it's not a comet. It's not just people coming out of the ground. This is a virus essentially. Which, when you think what we've just gone through as well, makes it even more terrifying. Obviously this was back in time before we went through everything we went through, but it makes it even scarier. So it's a fantastic movie. Obviously it did so well that we got a sequel, which is hugely underrated and still very good. And as Keith mentioned earlier, we're finally going to get a 28.
It's years.
I want to say years later, yeah. And thankfully, people have.
I was actually talking with my wife about that, and I was like, "Why wouldn't they do months? I don't understand that. Like, why does?"
No, I know. Well, I think
because it's been over 20 years.
In that time, yeah. And I think also if you're going to do it, one, you need Danny Boyle back on charge, and obviously, ideally, you want Cillian Murphy to come back. And the dude's a big deal now. I don't think he would have any problem doing it. It's just his schedule, I guess, and everything else. Because you could have just put anything together and sent it out and said, "Oh, this is part 3." Hostel 3 comes to mind. Yeah. So, but it's a fantastic movie, and if you haven't seen it, seek it out on Blu-ray for sure.
If you want to see Evil Doctor Who as well.
Yes. Yeah, Christopher Eccleston. Yeah. Yeah. He's not a nice guy. No. He's far from a nice guy, to say the least. Favorite scenes? Do we have any favorite scenes? I've got a couple of it. Go ahead.
There's a few. So the opening scene where he gets out of the hospital and the streets are just barren, and otherwise the city that is normally really busy is eerie as all get out. And I thought it was shot really, really well to really put an emphasis on the fact that this was a global pandemic, And another one of my favorite scenes, it's terrible to say, but it was so well acted by Brendan Gleeson, is when he gets the blood in the eye.
Yeah.
And his turning and him trying to, still be that awesome dad that he was to try and protect his daughter from himself at this point, knowing that he's turning.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
and I also like the political aspect of it, where you have it shows that sometimes there's an old phrase, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And while those animal activists had good intentions, they did not know what they were about to
No,
unleash in the world.
no.
So that goes to show you have to be careful with the things that you choose to do in your activist life.
Hmm.
So that was kind of like a message to kind of be careful, because you don't know what you could unleash upon the world. You may be trying to do good and you might save a couple of things and then kill a million. So be
Exactly.
careful.
Yeah, no, exactly, for sure. Um, I don't think personally this one's overly gruesome. It's gruesome. We look at the sequel, for example. The sequel ramps up the gore, but tones down the tension. Danny Boyle's not involved, and that's clear for all to see. It's still a good movie. It's still a decent movie, but it doesn't have that feeling running through it that you get from a Danny Boyle movie. What about yourself, Mel? Any favorite scenes?
When what's his name? When Jim releases, the
Oh,
infected that they kept there in
yeah,
the camp.
yeah,
I mean, being a woman myself and what they do to
of course.
women, I was like, yes, like it's for sure,
Yeah, no,
for
for sure.
sure. But
They
like,
deserved every bit of that.
oh yeah, like Keith said though, the blood drop in the eye, it just shows how fast people could get infected. It's just, usually it has to be a bite. It has to be something big. In The Walking Dead, they cover themselves in zombie guts.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
In 28 days later, they wouldn't have done that.
There's no time 28 days later. There's no
Well,
time to take the
they
state.
couldn't have done that. I mean, with the way those zombies were, I don't think that it would have masked
It,
anything.
no,
No,
no, because they're not zombies, right? But even if that would have worked, are you gonna take a chance of running that blood close to your eyes like that after seeing
Right.
that man get one drop of nope?
No.
no, exactly.
The-
It's like you say, because they're not quote unquote zombies in that respect. The method doesn't work. I love the Jim Berserker scene, as I call it, where he has no choice but to go, nuts. I think that's just it's been building and building and building, and he has no choice but to, eventually save the woman he now loves, clearly, along with Hannah as well. And he just goes full on berserker. That scene is fantastic, which leads up to the letting the infected loose. But the other scene I really enjoy, and I'm sorry I shouldn't laugh, but I just find it quite amusing in a really horrible sort of Mark way, is when Selena kills Mark. So they've just met Jim. Jim doesn't know what's going on, and he gets the tiniest little bite, and she's like, "Are you bit?" And he goes, "Yeah, but it's." And before he even finishes the sentence, she just butchers him. It's
But
like,
that brings back to what I was saying earlier, the reality of this. You don't mess around. I'm sorry, you're my friend. I've been with you, but you're bit. I mean, emotion,
you're dead.
survival instinct kicks in.
Yeah.
But like you said, she
Jim-
didn't even hesitate. You
No,
got
and-
bit,
and-
bang,
Yeah,
done.
Jim's still trying to work out what's going on. He's taken aback by it.
If you hesitate, in a zombie apocalypse, you die. It's that simple.
Yeah, exactly. But I just find that whole that whole section, that whole setup of that hammers home exactly what he's waking up into.
It, and that reminded me too. The other scene in the beginning, right before all of that, is when he's in the church, and we see
That's a great scene.
the infected for the first time.
Yeah, that's a great scene. That's when he
That-
thinks he's safe, isn't it? He thinks he's
Right.
finally found salvation. He's found somebody, and it's like, oh.
He's like,
no,
I'm sorry, Father.
Yeah, it's a great movie. It really is. I mean, I hold it to the highest standard. It's a 5 out of 5 for me. It always has been. And the sequel's decent. It is.
It had a good cast. Robert Carlyle was absolutely fantastic in that film.
Yeah. The sequel's decent.
It had what's it had? Idris Elba. It had Jeremy Renner in it. It had there was quite a few big names.
Yeah.
Byrne.
Yeah. It wasn't sort of a just chucked together for TV movie or a cheap cash in or anything. It was a decent movie. A couple of bits of trivia from this one. So the bulk of the infected who were cast, because they actually, it's all done practically. So the bulk of the infected cast were all actual either professional or semi-professional athletes. to make them quicker.
It's yeah, okay.
Makes sense, right? Makes sense.
Yep.
And this is another one that also blows my mind because it never happens or very rarely happens. This movie was almost entirely shot in sequence, opening credits to close credits. Obviously, films normally shot in sections and put together and edited and so on. This film was almost entirely shot in sequence.
Yeah, you're right. That's not done very often.
It's not
That's
done.
pretty cool. No,
Not
no.
done. No, it's not done at all. But it is a masterpiece in a time where horror was starting to pull back. We were starting to get decent movies again. The 90s were a bit up and down. The early 90s had their moments, but when you've got powerhouses of movie making like Danny Boyle putting his name to things like this, it's going to be good. It's clearly my bias is coming shining through. The man can do no wrong in my eyes. So yeah, it's a great movie. It gets 5 out of 5 for me, no question. And I can't wait for part 3.
It's definitely one of my favorite
Has to be. Yep. And in terms of British horror movies, it's up there with the very best, in my opinion, for me personally. I don't know if it's better than The Descent, but it certainly isn't. It runs it close. So yeah, it's a great movie. Check it out, guys, if you haven't. We got anything else to speak about on the fantastic 28 Days Later?
Good luck finding it. If you can actually find a DVD or Blu-ray version of it, they're
here in the UK. If anyone's awake here in the UK, apart from myself, because obviously it's later, it is available on some streaming services. I'm pretty sure you can get it on Prime for like £2, maybe even £2.50. It might even be free on Prime now. But you can get a double pack Blu-ray for about £10. So about
like you said, they're coming for 20 years later, so everything's gonna get re-released.
Yeah. I'd be amazed if we don't see this get a very brief day or two theatrical run leading up to it, because
a lot of films have been doing that before the theatrical releases of reboots, sequels.
Yeah,
even The Crow, the original Crow, was
this week. This week here, we had it, The Crow, for 2 days.
I'm
not
hearing
here,
lots of
unfortunately.
bad stuff about that film. The new one.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I have to be honest. I wasn't on board, and Dan, who commented earlier, is a huge fan, and he kind of can't wait, but also is very worried. And I look at it this way: it's not got Edward Furlong and David Boreanaz in, so it can't be that bad.
No,
it's not Crow Wicked Prayer. So
no, you've got a fairly good actor in Bill Skarsgård. So
yeah, for sure.
I have faith that he'll his acting will be fantastic. I just don't know if the writing and the storyline is going to be what we're looking for.
Yeah, time will tell. I just hope it's not John Wick in a duster with no t-shirt on. But anyway, that's maybe a crow discussion is something for down the line. Maybe once a new one comes out, an old and new discussion, something on those lines. Sounds good.
Yeah,
definitely. Sticking with movies from this side of the pond, an absolute comedy classic, which I struggle to find anyone who doesn't love this movie.
Love that movie.
2004's Shaun of the Dead.
Scarlett absolutely adores that film.
Love
Yay.
it.
What's not to love, though? It's so good. It's so well done. It's so funny. Written by Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright. Oh, I'm going to be quiet while we watch the amazing trailer.
Do you ever think that modern life is not for you? Do you do the same dead-end job every day? Is your love life dying on its feet?
To a wonderful mum.
Have you ever felt that you're turning into the end of the world? A zombie? Maybe you're not alone.
Piss it. Although no one official is prepared to comment, religious groups are calling it Judgment Day.
It is vital that you stay in your homes. Avoid all physical contact with the assailants.
So, what's the plan? Bash him in the head, that seems to work out. Why have we got to go to Lizzie's?
Because I love her.
Alright, gay.
Do something! Wait there.
That part right there is one of my favorite scenes of all.
So good. It's
See, I
so
grew
good.
up. I grew up on British comedy stuff. Like I was a massive fan of like Mr. Bean, and like I watched
Okay.
every. So I've always enjoyed British comedy, where I know some other people just don't. I'm so happy that she loves this though. She gets British comedy and laughs very much so. And I just get the feeling that Simon Pegg was essentially kind of more or less being himself in this film.
hmm
And
Yeah,
and
no question.
I felt the authenticity that he was kind of like his character.
Yeah, yeah. It's. I don't think there was a huge amount of theatrical range required for either Simon Pegg or Nick Frost, to be honest, in this movie.
I mean, the "Don't Stop Me Now" scene.
That's
Yes.
the one, right? Yeah, that's the one. We'll come to that a little bit
Oh
later.
my
but
God.
That's the one for sure. I'd be amazed if we don't all agree on favourite scenes, even if there's loads of them.
There's so many of them.
There's so many
many.
of them. Like I'd be
Yeah.
quoting most of the movie at this point.
Exactly. Yeah, it's great. It's so good. Written by Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright directed. He would bring us other great movies like Scott Pilgrim, which I loved. I know
Yep.
it didn't. A lot of people didn't believe it, not certainly over here. It did really poorly, but I loved it. Baby Driver was great, and more recently, Late Night in Soho, and obviously, Shaun of the Dead was the kickoff of the Cornetto trilogy with Hot Fuzz and World's End.
Yep.
Which are all. I don't think World's End is as good as the other two, but certainly Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz are top drawer. So, starring obviously Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, Kate Ashfield, and Dylan Moran, and a lot of other people you guys probably never heard of, and I hadn't either. You know, it's not a very big cast, really. Bill Nighy's obviously in it, who sort of rose to prominence, and again, thanks to the Underworld movies, I believe, and Love Actually.
I was gonna say Love Actually was a big one because that was
Yeah.
that when that released, there was so many amazing actors in that I
Yeah.
remember people all over the place were like, "We gotta go see Love Actually in the movie theater. It's a big romantic comedy. Come on, let's go."
Yeah, that
But
made
then
some money, that movie.
But then Underworld definitely was a big one for Bill, and then Pirates of the Caribbean 2, Dead Man's Chest. He plays
You know, I'll
Davy
hold my-
Jones.
Yeah, I'll hold my hands up. I saw the first one in about 10 minutes of the second. I've
Really?
never seen them since. Yeah, not for any particular reason. Just doesn't, things go by and you just don't always see everything. Made for about 6 million. Again, not huge money. Obviously, this is way before Simon Pegg and Nick Frost were names. Unless you watch Spaced on Channel 4 over here, which everyone did. This Side of the Pond. Space was a brilliant, quirky comedy, which is where a lot of these guys got their start. It brought in about 36 million, but it was predominantly released here. The original theatrical run was predominantly here, so 36 million against 6 in a country the size of England or the UK is decent. Yeah, it's not bad at all. It's a decent run. It's difficult to know what to say. Shaun of the Dead is iconic at this stage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those where if you haven't seen it, you know what you're talking about. You only need to see you see that the iconic picture of him with a cricket bat, and you go to Shaun of the Dead. You may have never seen a shot of it, but you will know it. I mean, he's just your everyday, average, nerdy guy. Zombie
Salesman.
apocalypse hits. Yeah, salesman, IT salesman. Lives in his friend's house from college, Pete, with his weed dealing friend.
But he's so disconnected though, because he doesn't see anything that's happening.
For those of you that have never seen this film, which I find that hard to believe, but for those who haven't seen, the guy who plays their roommate, is Peter. Peter in real life, I can't pronounce his last name, but he plays a character in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's the Denarian Nova Corps.
Yeah, he is part of Nova Corps. Yeah,
He's part of the Nova Corps and develops that little relationship with Rocket in that movie.
Yeah. he loses his girlfriend. He's life isn't going particularly well for him, and then the zombie outbreak kicks in, and all of a sudden he has to stand up and be the hero and save his friends, get the girl, and hold up in the Winchester, essentially.
Now, I've never actually had a British person to actually ask these questions, so I'm going to do it right now. How
Okay.
accurate is that kind of like a depiction of everyday life?
Yeah, it's very accurate.
That's what I
No,
was
no,
like.
it's in the sort of suburbs of the bigger cities like your London and Manchester and Liverpool and so on. It's quite common here in Bristol, which I live. Bristol's the 5th biggest city in the country, and there are roads with houses just like that, not far from my door. It's very, very on point. There's lots of little pubs and bars and whatever you want to pick. They have been there forever and a day. It look very much like the Winchester. It's pretty spot on in that respect.
Running down to the corner market in the morning.
Yeah. I've got one on the corner of Mass Road. I've got one literally a couple of 100 meters that way.
Oh, I have to spend time in England, I swear.
Come over. You're more than welcome, everybody. You have to still, as long as you can deal with the dog, you're good. But honestly, yeah, we've got a little market. It's open like 6 a.m. till 10 p.m. on the corner. Yeah, it's pretty accurate, I have to say.
That's what I was hoping, honestly.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
Because again, it felt authentic to me. Like, even though it was a comedy, even though we're dealing with zombies, like it felt like the stuff that you see prior to the zombie outbreak, like the kid with the soccer ball doing tricks, going down to the corner market, not having quite enough, change for what you were picking up, and just telling the guy at the market, "I'll catch you tomorrow" or something like that. It felt very authentic for the time.
Yeah. That side of it may not be quite as authentic these days. There's a lot more chains, but if you know people and if you have local stores and you're a little bit short that day, yeah, definitely. It's England in comparison to the US and Canada is tiny. You can drive one end to the other in about 10 hours.
Right.
You're done. Yeah.
Basically, England is the size of one of our states, and actually, in some cases, smaller than one.
Yeah, I'd say smaller. Yeah. Where you can fly from one state to another, if we could drive the length of the country in the same time. It's not big. It's not a big place. Not in comparison. Yes. So it is realistic. And people like Ed are also very realistic. You get a lot of people like Ed in the world. It's just a great movie, isn't it? It's just a good time. It's just a fun time. Is it scary? No. Is it? But it's not meant to be. There's no intention of it to be scary at any point. It's a full-on comedy.
I think the scariest thing that happens is when he closes the mirror and the silhouette of Pete is there all of a sudden. I think that's literally the scariest scene in the entire.
Yeah, that gives you that little jump scare.
It's a jump scare. It's not even.
It's not even anything. Oh God! But I adore this film. I watch this several times a year just for fun.
Yeah. It's one of those. If it's on, you leave it on.
Yeah.
And it's
So
on.
if you're looking for a laugh, if you're in a bad mood and you need a pick me up, this is the movie you watch.
Yeah. Okay, as there's going to be a lot of these, where are we talking in terms of favorite scenes? Because I'm sure there's a few.
There's
Interesting to see how many we match, how many we share.
Let's see. The record throwing, where they start throwing the records and they're debating
record
what they
throw,
wanted to throw.
Batman soundtrack. Yeah, that's my favorite scene.
That's the first printing. That was the second album I ever bought.
Put this on, so random. Fuck's sake. Okay, Diane, get them somewhere safe. David, kill the Queen.
That's the best line in the film.
Well, the fact that they
Kill
did everything
the Queen. What? That's a jukebox, David.
The fact that they did everything to the beat.
Yeah. So good.
Okay, John, it's time at the bar.
I want to point out that you can see all the padding that's in that guy.
Yeah. But that
He's
adds
just
to the
holding his
fun of
arms
it.
out. He's like, just give it to me.
Yeah. I think that adds to the fun of it.
Honestly,
He tries to do a spinneroonie. He literally just
So
tried
good.
to do a spinneroonie.
So
That's
good.
right.
That scene is right up there. But the scene, like you say, with the albums, he's like, the Stone Roses, I like it. So and so, Batman soundtrack, throw it.
Throw
Just-
it.
and then, yeah, and then the best bit as well. The other scene is one of the other scenes I love as well. Is when they first see the two zombies outside and they go back inside and they're like, "Are they still there?" He just opens the curtains. Yeah, they're still there. He closes the curtains. So it's fine. Just leave it. Just sit and play computer games. It'll be fine.
I already mentioned at the end of the trailer, but the scene where they're drunk walking and they see the zombie in the street and they're like,
Yeah, the white lines. Yeah, the white lines screen seems brilliant.
The ending. When
Yes.
he goes to take the controller, he's like, don't bite me.
Yeah, brilliant. The whole thing is just a masterpiece. Random questions, and this is a question that I probably get asked quite often. I'm guessing you guys have seen Hot Fuzz.
No.
No, oh, okay, then it's a moot point because the question is
Hot
always:
Fuzz-
is Hot Fuzz better than Shaun of the Dead? Like, which of the two is the better movie? It's difficult. I think it's a toss of a coin for me.
I
Hot
still
Fuzz
like
is-
Sean. I still like Sean better than Hot Fuzz. I did one of the funny things about Hot Fuzz though is that they do a couple of things that comes back to Shaun of the Dead, like the fence when he's trying to jump over the fence and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And ends up going through the fence again.
Yeah, there's a few little Easter eggs of if you've seen one, you've seen both.
Yeah.
World's End is the weaker of the three.
Yeah.
It's not a bad movie, far from it. It's a good time, but when you've hit those heights, it's difficult to maintain them, obviously. Hot Fuzz was only filmed about, 20, 30 miles from here. Not far at all. But yeah, that's definitely one of the those are the scenes that stick out for sure. The Queen scene is brilliant. The vinyl throwing scene is amazing. The white line scene is amazing. The whole thing's amazing. Yeah, it really is. It's so good.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite scene?
When where Ed was like driving a car and he just broke it and then he took his stepfather's car instead. And that was pretty funny.
That's a great scene. And he's playing the metal at full blast in a zombie apocalypse. It's like a Meals on Wheels type scenario.
The funny thing about that though is they're talking about how they don't keep any of their previous life, and the first thing that Bill Nighy's zombie does is go and turn off the metal in the.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of which, I almost forgot about this because I thought this was actually a stroke of brilliance when he's the morning after. And they're watching the news as he's flipping through the channels. Each channel completes the sentence of the previous channel's broadcast of whatever it's broadcasting, which makes watching that scene, if you've never noticed that before, which makes watching that scene even funnier because of the way that it goes down.
If you take that sentence from each broadcast as one long line, it tells you exactly how to survive the movie. Stay indoors, go for the head, etc., etc. It explains how to survive the movie, but because it's chopped up between multiple stations and broadcasts, it takes a second for your head to catch up a little bit with it. But it's so good. Little bit of trivia on this one, and this is mind blowing. George Romero was so impressed with this movie that he had Nick Frost and Simon Pegg be extras on as the zombies in Land of the Dead a year later. To think that the godfather of zombie movies not only saw this but liked it enough to go, you two can be zombies if you like. Brilliant.
It's pretty cool.
That's cool,
I
right?
never
Yes.
noticed that. Are they wearing their Shaun of the Dead outfits in this?
I don't know. I couldn't find out either way for sure. I couldn't get to find it, but
In what movie did you say?
Land of the Dead, 2003, so literally a year later.
Yeah, it's got like John Leguizamo in it. and
2005,
stuff like
it might have been actually.
And
Yeah, it's not a great movie.
It's not great, but like the
Dennis Hopper
way
as well.
that the zombies are done in that film were different. And
Yeah.
I liked that a lot. Like the execution of the zombies was really well done. The storyline that couples with what they did there is not that great. But
No, I
the
agree.
zombies themselves were really interesting.
Yeah, I remember going back and doing when I reviewed the whole series. How long? Probably a year ago now, maybe a little bit longer. And I hadn't seen Land of the Dead apart from the initial watch. And in my head, it was the one I was looking forward to the least. And that was still the case, but it was nowhere near as bad as I built it up and as remembered it being. It's not great. Far from it. It's not. It's not a great movie, but there's some interesting takes to it.
The zombie death match is where you could see them doing a cameo.
Oh, okay.
Hold on a second.
You imagine being like these guys they're TV stars over here. They make a little English movie, and next thing you know, George Romero's on the phone saying, "Guys, do you want to come and be in my movie?"
They would be the zombies, I think.
Yeah.
So somewhere in that scene.
Somewhere in this scene, yeah.
Yeah, that's where they
That's
are.
cool. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, it's another one, guys. If you haven't seen it, I'd be amazed. But if you haven't, then get to it. It's a great movie. It's a great time, and it's another 5 out of 5 for me.
Yep. Even if you don't like horror movies, Shaun of the Dead is such a comedic masterpiece that you'll enjoy it, even though you don't like horror movies.
I think the only way you wouldn't enjoy this is if you don't have that transition into British comedy. Like if you struggle with British comedy, you might go, "Well, I don't get it." But I think even then, it crosses a lot of borders.
I mean, not really, because some British comedy I don't get, but that movie is just hilarious. It's just funny. The whole time is just I just couldn't stop.
Yeah, it has me in rolls every single time I watch it.
Sign of a good movie, certainly a comedy. If you laugh every time, you know it's a good one.
Put it to you this way: my oldest son, Wyatt, who absolutely abhors anything horror, scares the crap out of him. Me and Scarlett just rewatched it earlier this afternoon, and he actually came in, sat down, and watched the whole thing with us, and it didn't bother him.
No, it's zany, it's wacky, it's a full-on comedy just based around a horror premise. It's it's not. I wouldn't even call it a horror comedy. It's a comedy with a bit of a horror premise more than anything else.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's great. It's so good. Yeah, everyone loves Sean.
Wyatt was the only one who was scared of the guts of coming out of David.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was a little gruesome for him, so he had to step out there for a moment.
There's probably the one scene, right, as well. I don't think there's anything else.
where they like rip him up.
They rip him.
I was gonna point out to him that you can clearly see that the actor who's playing David is crouching.
Yeah.
And that it's a fake torso, guys.
Yeah. It's definitely. You can set, like you say, if you know what you're looking for, it's there. So, yeah, it's great. I don't know what else to say about it, to be honest, or anything else. It's a fantastic movie. Go watch it.
When there's a zombie apocalypse, make sure you find your local pub.
Yeah, get to the Winchester with a cricket bat.
And just remember that the gun over the bar is actually a working gun.
Now that I can't say would be true over here. Obviously, firearms are completely illegal in the UK, so I'd say it's unlikely. You never know.
We're good here. Walk into a bar, I'm sure we can find a minimum of like 10.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Usually the bartender's probably got one under the shelf.
I remember on a side. I remember when I was over there at one point doing some traveling around, and I lived there for a bit at one point, and I remember going into a bar just outside of Sedona, and it was just this little bar in the middle of nowhere, a little hotel attached. We were only there for one night, and I only remember it because there was this humongous guy at the bar, just huge, absolutely huge. And we're sat there, he ordered a drink, and he's like, "Oh, where are you from?" And we're talking, me and my wife were talking to the guy, and he just pulls out this cannon and puts it on the bar, like it was, nothing. And, it turns out he was a policeman or a sheriff or whatever the case may be, but just literal cannon. I was like, wow. Yeah, you didn't get out here. Yeah.
Yeah,
wrong, we were-
it's like that
we were-
here.
Yeah,
This
they were
is
problems, but
crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, we're at the halfway point. Oh, good.
Let's move on.
Moving on. Another comedy. One that just came out of nowhere at the time, I think, to be fair. I don't remember seeing a huge amount of buzz for it, and then it was here, and it's amazing. Zombieland.
Planet Earth, home to over 6 billion people. Today, our very existence is threatened by epidemics, climate change, and dwindling resources. But those are the least of our problems. Welcome to Zombieland.
My mother always told me, someday you'll be good at something. I mean, I don't think she could have guessed that something would be zombie killing. What do you think? Zombie kill of the week?
Close, but no cigar. Zombie Kill of the Week went to Miss Cynthia Knickerbocker.
Gotta enjoy the little things.
Fucking love this shit.
Well, these fellas really let themselves go.
Zombieland.
You guys want some Puro?
Yes. Yeah.
For those of you playing the home game, the body that they dumped over the balcony was Bill Murray.
Spoilers. Bless you,
Yep.
Murray.
Hey,
Yep.
we're
Also-
to the podcast. I think.
Oh yeah, we're well past.
Point.
Yeah, we
Also-
we spoil everything.
Wasn't it nice after everything we've seen Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and then you start watching that movie again and you realize that Amber Heard is getting smacked with that toilet thing? I mean,
Yep, she is 406 and she gets killed in the best way possible.
yeah,
Just gonna put this out there. I'm just gonna put this out there now. Amber Heard, worth it. Moving on.
If you're not a fan of Amber Heard, you can still enjoy it.
Sorry, look, I'm just being
No,
honest.
Well,
Tallahassee is probably one of my favorite Woody Harrelson characters of all time.
Yeah, for sure, no question. The thing is with Woody Harrelson, he can play himself, and that's more than enough. More than enough.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
he's amazing.
2009. 2009. I didn't think it was that old.
Yeah,
I didn't realize it was
Yes.
that old.
I was working for Blockbuster Video when that movie
Oh
came.
wow.
wow.
Those were the days, man. Picking up movies based on the boxes. No idea what you were taking home. Those were the days.
I got free rentals of new releases, so I knew
Yeah, I bet.
what to tell customers when they came through the door. So I got to watch them a week before they hit the street.
Sad times.
Have
You have
y'all
to be
ever
able to-
watched Hunger Games?
Sorry, what was that, Scarlett?
I said, have y'all ever watched Hunger Games?
Have we watched what? I don't know.
Hunger Games.
Hunger Games was that?
Hunger Games with
Hunger
Woody
Games.
Harrelson and Jennifer Lawrence.
I've not seen it, I'll be honest. No, I've not seen
Yes.
There's a character from that, the guy with the with the cowboy hat. That he's been in there, and it also has Emma Stone.
Emma
okay.
Stone, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I've not seen it. Not sure why actually, but I haven't. He's done everything, hasn't he, Woody Harrelson? He's been around forever. I mean, what hasn't he done at this point? He
And what wouldn't he do for a damn Twinkie?
Yeah. Well, go back as far as Cheers. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, 2009, which, as I say, shocked me. Written by a pair of guys by the name of Reed Reese. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing that with my farmers-like twang. And Paul Wernick. They gave us Zombieland 2. They gave us the Deadpool movies. And they gave us Life. Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal and I don't know what else is in that movie actually. It's okay, it's like a bit of an Aliens rip-off. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's alright. So yeah. Directed by Ruben Fleischer, who also directed Double Tap, and he also directed the Venom movies and the Uncharted movie that I couldn't finish. Just terrible, but there you go. Cast-wise, we're talking A-list, aren't we? I think it's safe to say at this point. Mel's had enough. She's like, be quiet.
No, it's Jesse Eisenberg was good for the role of Columbus. He just tends to play the same character in everything.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of one side. He's very one-sided to his acting capabilities.
Yeah, that one side doesn't include Lex Luthor.
No, he was awful as Lex Luthor.
Yeah, hugely miscast. But yeah, if you're looking for the quiet, shy, nerdy type, he's your guy. Yeah, or Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, no, he did. Yeah, he did okay with the network, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Granted, he had the wonderful, amazing Spider-Man as a counterpart in that film.
This is true. Yeah, this
which
true.
Which did make it much better, to be honest.
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah,
entirely too good looking and not nerdy enough to be Spider-Man, but he did a good job.
No, he did. He did fantastic, but he's just a well-rounded actor. Like if you've ever watched all the stuff that he does, he definitely becomes the characters that he portrays.
Yeah,
like for example, he Tick Tick Boom and on Netflix, which is kind of like a story about Jonathan Larson, the playwright who wrote the musical Rent. It's kind of the story of his early life before he died.
Okay.
And he plays Jonathan Larson in that film, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I love Andrew Garfield. He's fantastic.
Yeah, he's good. He's very good. He was 30 when he played Peter Parker.
Yep.
Crazy. Yep. But there you go. That was where we were.
And again, Zombieland was kind of early on in Emma Stone's career as well.
Yeah, she was a relatively unknown. And Abigail Breslin's a kid.
Yeah. This was like her transition period. This was where she was kind of moving away from the kid, becoming more of an adult.
Yeah.
She had been in so many like films, like Definitely Maybe, and where she played a much younger child in most of the Signs with Mel Gibson.
That's right. She was in Signs, wasn't she?
His daughter. Yep, in Signs.
I forgot she was in Signs. It's been a minute since I've seen Signs, to be fair.
Yep, as well as what was it? Was it Rory? Culkin, Macaulay Culkin, Home Alone's little brother was in it as well.
Okay.
Macaulay Culkin's brother.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And then of course Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, it's not a worst movie, to be fair. It's not bad.
It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite M. Night Shyamalan's.
Yeah,
with you.
I can understand why. It's decent enough. I think we may see Garfield again. Depending on what they do with the Venom stuff and the universe hopping, we may see another version of him.
We'll see.
I mean, I'm more in favor of it. It'd be great.
We will see. Now, the one thing that sets Zombieland apart is the fact that it's kind of like an autobiographical where Jesse Eisenberg is telling his point of view of surviving in Zombieland. And one of the funny things about this is he has created a set of rules, which we don't get to actually see them all, but we get to see some of the more funny ones. And the first one that he talks about is the number one rule is cardio.
Yeah, brilliant.
And
Yes.
and that one was funny.
Yeah.
The way they portrayed that one, he's like, "Yep, in Zombieland, the first ones to go are the fatties."
It's up there for sure. It's they say we've got a set of rules that we don't see them all, but the cardio one's great.
There's 53 rules in total that I can see.
Yep, there's a lot. Seat belts, beware of bathrooms.
The
Double tap.
Double tap. Yep.
Yeah. Double
Seat
tap,
belts, travel light.
Yep.
I mean, everything.
Don't be a hero.
Yeah. Be a hero.
Yeah.
Because
he changes it. Yeah.
he updates it. Yes.
Yeah, he changes it, doesn't he?
Ziploc bags.
Ziploc bags. Yep. And I love the fact that they just get, to begin with, they just get outsmarted by the girls continually, and then eventually they have to work together.
Yes.
Genius. And, Tallahassee just can't deal with it.
That's where I discovered Emma Stone, and my love for that actress. I mean, I love everything she does. I think she's amazing. Cardio. You know, I every time I do the Nixus podcast, I have a question. I ask the bands now, who would survive a zombie apocalypse? Who would be the first to go down? And a lot of people tell me because, I'm the fat guy in the group. I don't have cardio. And my answer to that is I would trip a bitch.
Yeah.
I'll trip you. I'm going to stay alive. I will trip you.
There you go.
No, see, Sam? Just trip somebody. Trip it. You'll be good.
Thing is, you haven't got to outrun the zombies, you just got to outrun the guy in front of you.
Hey, listen, it worked for Shane in Walking Dead. I mean, look what he did to Otis in season 2.
True. Very true.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Bill Murray for the win, right?
Yeah.
That scene, that's my favorite scene.
Yeah.
That's
That
my
is
favorite.
my favorite scene.
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be. And he
That's
goes, I
insane.
think I just shot Bill Murray, and he goes, I'm pretty sure it's just Bill at this stage.
Yeah.
So good. But
Like, no,
literally,
it's my fault. Miscalculated.
Yeah. Probably shouldn't have scared him in the cinema. But it's a road movie, isn't it,
Such a
essentially?
huge fan of yours. I mean, I swear, I've seen every one of your movies a million times, and I even love your dramatic roles and just everything. 6 people left in the world. One of them is Bill fucking Murray. I know that's not your middle name. I've been watching you since I was since I could masturbate. I mean, not that they're connected. Former Queen Sheba about to become a Master Champion. Yeah.
So Columbus.
The funny thing is it seems like Woody Harrelson was legitimately geeking out getting to work.
Yeah.
It's about to be my favorite part. That's my favorite part.
How he takes forever to die.
I know.
Yeah.
Is that how you say hello? Where you come from?
Oh my god. Oh my god, I can't believe I shot Bill Murray.
Mr. Murray.
Bill, I think now.
Bill,
Yeah?
I don't think we're gonna be able to stitch this.
That's still tender.
You think you might pull through?
No.
If it means anything now, I am so sorry. It's just instinctive.
It's my bad. I was never a very good practical joker.
I don't know why Bill Murray is so dramatic.
Garfield, maybe?
Any regrets, Garfield?
Who wouldn't at this point?
Yeah, it's true.
Those movies, those are terrible.
Come on. That would be me.
So good.
That would
So
that would be
good.
me.
So good.
Well, he just finished saying that he was never a good practical joker, and then he does.
Yeah, it's just the whole concept of how do you approach Bill Murray and go, we're going to make you dress up as a zombie and then you get shot. But you're still going to be Bill Murray.
I'm willing to bet that all of that was improvised.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm willing to bet that was, and I'm willing to bet that Emma Stone couldn't contain her laughter, and that's why that happened in the first
I would imagine the days they were on set with Bill Murray were like the greatest days of their lives.
Oh.
Cannot be. But yeah, I mean, it is essentially a road movie in its own way. You know, you've got Columbus looking for his family. He meets Tallahassee along the way, who's looking for Twinkies, because of course he is. And then they also meet the sisters, and then from there they travel. Eventually, they end up traveling together, and then you've got the finale at the fun fair, which is brilliant.
But we always, like, everybody always talks about the four main, but what about that chick at one point that just appears, the blonde girl with her suitcase
Yes. Yeah. Just appears out of nowhere. Randomly.
That girl.
Yeah, you know, okay, that's weird. But then they just sort of dismiss her and carry on, don't they? It's almost
Well,
like,
you know, she's all ditzy and stuff, and he, you know, you can
yeah.
tell that he's tried to, oh shit, there's a girl, you know, so maybe I can have it. No, poor kid.
I love Zombie Kill of the Week. I think Zombie Kill of the Week is brilliant. They should do that like a 30-minute show every week. It'd be amazing.
And it was
brilliant. Zombie
what
Kill of
was
the
her
Week.
name? Was it sister? What was it?
Little
Little
Rock?
No. The zombie kill of the week with the piano was her name.
I don't
The
remember.
old lady, I
Sister
remember.
Mary,
It might have been. I don't remember.
something like that, where she pulls the thing and drops the piano on the zombie.
Yeah,
Definitely
brilliant.
Zombie kill of the week.
So good. This it's made a lot of money. I don't think it's a massive surprise. Made for about $23 million. Brought in 102. No wonder we got a double tap. Yeah, it made a lot of money.
I bet you a good chunk of that was Bill Murray's salary for his one scene.
You know, right? Well, interestingly, little fact for this one I found out, which is hilarious. Production was held up by one full day while making this movie because Woody Harrelson was arrested for possession of marijuana while during filming and spent a day in prison, or a day in the station, as it were. So production was held up for a full 24 hours, which is hilarious. Out of all the things, you know. Yeah, I'd love to know how the Bill Murray conversation came around. It's mind-boggling to think that was something that was predetermined. It was written in for him, or if it was written, they go, we'll ask him after. Who knows? But it makes the movie. It's already great, and then the Bill Murray element of it just takes it over another level. Which
That
is
was
the
a
reason
nice
why-
surprise. It was definitely
Yeah,
a nice. What to see
yeah.
him walk in, it was like, oh, because he's not in the trailers. He's not, you know, it's not a selling point. It's just like a bonus.
Yeah, and a lot of movies when they do this, they make the mistake of having a name in the opening credits. It's not in the opening credits in this, so you know it would be like having Tom Cruise on the opening credits of Tropic Thunder.
Listen, it's like me watching Bird Box because I think that God, I forgot her name now.
Where are you going with this?
When they say here, this actress is in the movie.
Right.
So I watched Bird Box because what's her name? She plays American Horror Story. She plays Sarah Paulson. I'm all excited. Sarah Paulson's in it. Well, spoilers. She died in the first 10 minutes. And I was like,
yeah, I don't. Oh,
I was like,
you're right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
fuck. I watched the movie for her, but let's just keep watching it for Sandra Bullock.
I was waiting for one of you to say that you watched her 28 days later, rather than the one about her in rehab, rather than the zombie movie.
Oh shit!
That would have been hilarious.
Right.
Yeah.
Another fun fact about Zombieland is that the inspiration for the director of the film was taken directly from Shaun of the Dead.
Really? I didn't know
Yes.
that. I didn't find that.
Oh.
Ruben, I think it's Taste Fleischer has said that he
Fleischer,
was
yeah.
inspired to make this by Shaun of the Dead.
Why?
Holy
That's
cow.
cool.
Small
Yeah,
world.
that is cool. Yeah. It's funny how it works. It kind of does lean to why the comedy element of it's a similar sort of comedy, isn't it? It's a similar sort of slapsticky way of filmmaking. It's got that sort of element to it. So I'm not massively surprised. I think the Bill Murray element is what takes it over the top. I think that's why I would say that the second one isn't quite as good. It's okay. It's all right. It's not terrible, but
So I just did a quick little research to know how Bill Murray ended up there. They were gonna give it to like a zombified dancing Patrick Swayze, like Sylvester Stallone. They had a few celebrities lined up, but the actor cast in the part that he dropped a week before, and Harrelson's the one that messaged Bill Murray, and it was like, and Bill Murray said yes.
sometimes these things just happen.
That I'm wondering about, is that actually Bill Murray's actual house?
That's a very good question. Probably not, but you never know. I bet he lives in something similar. You know, I'm sure he does, but yeah, it's probably not. But it may be modelled on his house. You never know. It's possible. But yeah, I bet it's not far off somewhere like that he lives. Been very successful over the years.
I don't think it was his house. I think it was filmed mostly around like Georgia and these parts.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Hollywood, Atlanta. They were there.
Our audio cut out there for like 30 seconds.
Okay. So yeah, Zombieland again. We're on a roll this week with great movies.
A beautiful movie.
Beautiful movie. I love it. Even better. A beautiful movie.
Funnily, I just found another fun fact. So Emma Stone was originally cast as 406, the Amber Heard role.
Was she really? Not crazy enough, huh?
Yep, and then she ended up getting bumped up.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, that movie would not be the same if it was Amber Heard.
Can you imagine if Amber Heard was Wichita?
No. Nope. Mm-mm.
No, it wouldn't work. These things tend to work out when they're meant to. You look at a lot of these movies that people have been cast for, and very rarely does it not work out for the better. That they've gone the way they've gone. I mean, Will Smith was supposed to be in The Matrix. Can you imagine?
Well, his wife ended up being in it.
True. Yeah, true. Yes, Zombieland rules. That's it for the comedy. Now for the tears. Mel, do you want to talk about this one, Mel? So I'd be quiet, or do you want me to carry on? Or are you going to be able to cope? I don't want you tearing up.
Huh?
I don't want you tearing. Do you want to talk? You going to be okay?
I'm going to be okay. That movie just wrecks me. It just, every time. And every time, like, let's watch it. And I get to that one scene, and I'm like, God, I'm not going to cry. And then there it is, fucking crying like a baby.
Yeah.
I don't cry from horror movies.
When you're a little bit older and maybe you have kids, that scene might get to you.
Yeah, it's true. I don't have kids or a very wide emotional range, and I still felt a little bit upset.
Yeah.
There you go. Train
so
to
I said,
Busan.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Some people don't.
Yeah. Train to Busan. What a movie. 2016. We're catching up. 2016. This is where I butcher lots of people's names. So apologies across the board.
The year after when I was born.
Jeez. Now we all feel really old.
Thanks, Scarlett. Thank you so much for that.
So that's thrown me off of my my rhythm completely. Okay, let's try it again. Train to Busan. Yeah, I know, right? I don't know how old I was in 2016, but I'd been here a while. I think I'm the oldest here, though, right?
Did they get you there, Dad?
She's to mine.
Right, okay, here we go. I'm going to butcher these names after the trailer. Let's do the trailer first.
KTX 406 열차가 곧 출발합니다.
저기요. 이상한 사람이 하나 타고 있는 것 같은데.
팀장님, 여기 11호차 응급 환자 발생했습니다.
알려주세요.
아직까지 남의 안에 열려 있다니까. 우리 그냥 이것들 달고 부산으로 갑시다. 바로. 시티 몇 호칸? 지금 무슨 일이 벌어지고 있는지 몰라? 우리 열차는 더 이상 부산으로 운행할 수가 없게 됐습니다.
Boom.
So good. So good.
Some callbacks to the zombies of 28 Days Later. They moved a lot faster
Rapid.
than the zombies.
And in a confined space like that. That's what does it. That
Yep,
confined
that was
space
even-
makes everything feel quicker. Yeah, so the guys behind this haven't actually done a huge amount of work. I've found 4 movies between the writers and directors, one of which was an animated zombie apocalypse movie called Seoul Station. It's Seoul, Korea, spelled Seoul Station. Written by a guy named Joo Suk Park. That's pretty good for me. And directed by Young Sang Ho. I'm on a roll. This is where it goes bad, really. Starring Gong Yoo, Jung Young Mi, and Kim Saram. Okay, that wasn't too bad.
You also have to add Ma Dong-seok into it as well.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
the reason why I'm going to say it right now is because his character is legitimately my favorite character in the entire movie.
Yeah. And also, randomly, in everyday life away from movie world, he was Gong Yo's personal trainer.
Interesting.
Made for 10 million yen, which works out to about $63,000.
And it is that level of good.
Yeah, and it brought back 92 million. It is the sixth highest grossing movie in South Korean history.
Wow.
That makes complete and utter sense.
Lunacy. It just goes to show it can be done.
That's absolutely fantastic. That means that they're using modern day technology at a fraction of the cost that we use it at.
Yeah. No wonder
At
we're
the
getting
very-
trained to New York.
At the very beginning, they're like acting like deers and dogs when they attack the person.
Yeah. They're very much like they're like hunting dogs. You're right. The way they approach and sort of leap onto people and the speed and stuff. It's very much animalistic. Yeah. In a nutshell, a zombie outbreak hits and Busan appears to be a station that's still open, which means there could be some freedom. So they keep on the train and keep going, but at the same time, people are getting infected. And within this, you've got the story of a successful businessman and his young daughter, whose relationship is somewhat strained, I think it's probably safe to say.
Yeah.
That changes dramatically over the course of the movie to...
Living with her dad. Mom is in Busan.
Correct. Yep.
And he is taking her. Originally, he wasn't going to take her, but he decided to take her for her birthday to see her mother.
Yeah. It's difficult to. Sorry. Go on.
I was going to say, I love this film. I know I've watched it so many times. The couple there, which is she's pregnant. this guy is like strong, man. Like, it's pretty cool how he was able to stand up and to these zombies where nobody else could do. I mean, he was being a pugilist with them. He was fist fighting.
He's a big dude. He's a big guy. You know, he's a big dude for sure.
He's a big Korean. I've not seen too many Koreans as big as this guy. Not gonna lie, he's a big guy. But the entire premise, they're stuck on the bus, and there's one person that gets onto the bus that's infected, and then, as you can imagine, it just starts to spiral out of control from there on out. The scene where the baseball team starts to get infected, that was insane.
That's my scene. That's my favorite scene in the movie. If you can have a quote unquote favorite scene, but I just admire the artistry of it. The artistry of how it's put together, how it's portrayed on the screen is just incredible.
Nope, they had a really good like storyline, the way they put it together.
Yeah.
Just made it successful. And then of course you have the one thing I've seen in a lot of the Asian filmmaking and stuff like that is they do a really good job at creating at least one or two characters that you just really want to punch in the face and that you really hope that they die at some point throughout the movie. And that older business guy is that person for me. Like, he was just such an ass throughout the entire film.
Well, that's one of the key messages within the movie, isn't it? Is that when you're surrounded by all the undead and all the monsters, actually the scariest thing is the way that the people turn on each other. Yeah. That's the underlying key to the story in the movie itself. It's frantic. It goes by in a hiccup. You know, I don't even know what the runtime is. It could be 2 hours, or it could be longer for all I know. I haven't got it to hand, but it goes so quick. It starts. There you go, so close to 2, but it runs at a fever pitch.
And it's the kind of movie that it's subtitles. But at one point, I'm not even reading the subtitles anymore. You get the story, you get where they're going, and then the action, the acting is just on point to tell you where the story was going.
Oh, the stuff that South Korea has been coming out with these last, 7 to 10 years now.
Probably longer. Yeah, probably longer.
Probably longer than that. The stuff's been brilliant, and everything that I end up catching from South Korea on Netflix or anywhere else that I see a film from, I'm always enthralled with what they do. There's a horror TV show that I also believe is done from South Korea called The Kingdom, which is like olden times where I
watched this based on your. I think we talked about this before Fear was called Fear way back, maybe episode 1 way back when, and I watched it based off of you talking about it. I think it's really good. Yeah. Sounds familiar. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah,
The Kingdom. It is a very unique way of portraying a zombie outbreak. Very unique. So like I've enjoyed just Asian filmmaking in general, Japanese, Korean. A lot of it is
I'm a big fan.
Really well done. Really, really, really well done. There's been very few things that I have watched that I haven't enjoyed.
It's rare, isn't it? It's rare. I'm with you on that. It's a rarity. You find something you go, that wasn't for me, because what you tend to find is that even with the more extreme movies, there's something different about it. The
Squid Game.
The affiliation, the affiliation for the genre, for horror in general. They adore it as a genre. They don't, it's not to be sort of sneered at. Not that I think we are in that time anymore, but we certainly were. It definitely is a classic in its own right. I'm dreading the American remake.
Are they doing a remake of Train to Busan in America?
Yeah, Train.
No, it was dropped. It was supposed. Yeah, it was supposed to come out, but it was dropped. Another movie came out in its place. U.S. bought the rights in 2016 and
did nothing with it.
No, they dropped it because. She said there is one. I have not seen it.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a Train to Busan 3.
Yeah, so Train to Busan 2, if you have seen or if you haven't, has nothing to do with this movie. It's a sequel in name only. It's not connected in any way. I haven't seen it, but from what I could gather from the research I did over the course of the week, it's, you know, we get this a lot now. Have you noticed that a lot of movies come out and there's something to, and they're not connected in any way at all. It's just they used the title for whatever reason.
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah,
What was that zombie TV show on Sci-Fi that Netflix ended up doing the prequel to it called Black Summer?
Don't think we got that here. This is not familiar.
Yeah, Black Summer. Black Summer is the prequel to this. My wife would remember. She used to watch it. It was on Sci-Fi. It was a zombie TV show where like some of the zombies, even though they were infected, still maintained their humanity.
Oh, okay.
Black Friday?
No, I forget. This is gonna drive me insane. I'll get back to you on what that show is, but like,
it does.
Yeah,
happen,
they've done a lot where some of it is in the same universe. It may not be directly correlated to that specific story, but it is definitely in the same universe.
The one that always springs to mind to me, and this I haven't done this intentionally by any means, bearing the fact that I'm in the middle of reviewing these movies, is that the MTV Scream series was taken over, wasn't it, by Netflix? And they did a really good job with it. So when you had Scream, the TV series, I think season 1 was an MTV production, and then eventually it moved over to Z Nation.
Z Nation.
Rachel with the win.
Z Nation, that's it. So they always talked about the Black Summer and Z Nation, and then Netflix bought the rights to it and ended up doing it as a TV show. And the first season of Black Summer was actually really good.
Interesting. No, I don't think we have that here.
Really?
Don't think so. I mean, it's not something that's. I'll have a look for it, but I mean, it's not something I'm aware of. But it doesn't mean we didn't. But I haven't heard of it before. But yeah, I'm a big.
There's definitely some good stuff. Definitely some good stuff. And Train to Busan is one of those that is like high ranking. Because I remember my wife usually watches stuff randomly and then tells me, "Hey, you should check this out because this was cool." And that's how I ended up seeing Train to Busan for the first time. And she's like, "Keith, you have got to see this movie."
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. It's nothing new. That's the beauty of it. It's nothing new. It's nothing you haven't seen before. It's a zombie apocalypse movie, but the way it's delivered, the pace it's delivered at, the heart it's got within it, just carries it to top tier.
It could almost be in the same universe as World War Z. It's very the zombies act in a very similar way, but in all honesty, this movie was better executed than World War Z.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of World War Z, I'll be honest. Only because I read the book. I think probably that didn't help. Having read the series.
The best part of World War Z was when they get to that CDC. The scenes inside the CDC where he's in the viral lab and that one zombie is right there. That was probably the best part of the entire film.
Yeah. I think unfortunately for them at the time, CG wasn't quite where they needed it to be.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, no, it was. I just don't think they executed it well was the issue.
I think it did well. I think it made a lot of money.
Well, no, I mean, I get what you're saying.
I know what you mean.
Money,
yeah.
But like from the CG standpoint, I think they did have the right kind of CG at that point because it was after Avatar, if I remember correctly. So CG technology was there. It's just I don't think they. I
guess it depends how much money you pump into it.
Right, and I think they rushed it too. They rushed it to get out because of it. Yeah, see, the book, Rachel just hit it right on the head. The book version of World War Z is so much.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's great. It's one of the, as I say, that's why I think the movie didn't hit for me because of that very reason. But a remake or a sequel or whatever the situation may be when it comes to Train to Busan, I'm kind of against it.
I thought there was a second one.
Well, there is a second one, but from what I could find out, it's a sequel in name only. But it's not necessarily a continuation. Which, as I was saying earlier, we get a lot of that.
Train to Busan 2 takes place 4 years after the original movie.
Yeah.
So it is a sequel, but it's not like a direct sequel. It's like after things have started to die down, and it's a completely separate story from the original story. And it did not do so good. It was at like 55% Rotten Tomatoes, 5.5 out of 10, 3 stars from fans. It didn't do very well.
No, it didn't hit. I mean, I think the problem is as well is that you're looking to do a sequel to a movie that the niche of it is that it's stuck on a train all that time.
Yeah, it's also known as Peninsula.
Ah, okay.
Standalone. Yeah, it's called Peninsula, and it's a standalone sequel.
Yeah. So it's, I think, because of the nature of the movie, the train element, everything else, it's a perfect standalone movie. Just leave it be. We don't need.
Yeah.
Not everything has to be a sequel or a universe or a whatever. We don't need the Train to Busan multiverse anytime soon.
No.
You really don't. It's great. It's well acted. It's well made. It's, especially when you realize how much it was made for. Yeah, and the end is heartbreaking.
Yes,
it is. It's so well done. That little girl's cries and screams will break the hardest shell.
Yeah, the heart of any man and woman just destroys you, especially if you're a parent.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I can't recommend it highly enough. The only thing I would say is each to their own, obviously, but if you really want to experience it in the best form, watch it with the subtitles.
Yep.
I'm a firm, the dubbed versions, in my opinion, generally you lose something when something's dubbed. I always feel
it wasn't terrible. Like I've done both. I've watched the original Korean with the subtitles, and I've watched the American dub with my daughter here a couple of times now, and she waves. And it's not terrible. Like I've seen a lot worse dubs than this one. But yes, you definitely lose some of the emotionality of what's happening in the film with the American actors because they really just don't know how to. Whoever they're getting to voice act this stuff, I don't know why or how they can be so much worse than the original actors.
I cry when it's about kids. If it's about an animal, Rachel, I will completely lose it. I can't do it. We watch movies, and when a scene comes on where an animal's gonna get hurt, Amanda tells me, "Close your eyes." I just sit there, and then she tells me when I can watch it again. Like I'm a big toddler when it comes to that, a big baby.
I Am Legend.
The
German Shepherd. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's another one. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I can watch any horror movie. Adults are dying, getting killed. I'm like, no problem. A dog dies, I'm like, oh my god, why? Like,
man, you must have had a hard time with multiple episodes of The Walking Dead. Then.
Yes.
Did you see the news? Did you see the?
Died.
Yeah. Did you see the news this week? Yeah, yesterday. No. Yeah, the dog that plays dog died yesterday. Died this week.
Oh no.
Daryl said. Norman Reedus said that he's lost his greatest ever on-screen companion.
Oh, puppy. See, I can't do puppies.
The dogs from the original Thing movie.
Yeah, no.
Obviously, kid stuff is never good. Animals is different.
Yep.
I prefer animals to people.
Speaking of the Thing, they're remaking and remastering a high-definition video game version of it.
Are they?
I've seen the trailer. It looks really cool.
That's more money gone.
Right.
That's more money gone on stuff already owned.
Take my money because they basically have you go through the plot line with Kurt Russell.
It's not come out yet. They haven't even shown us the artwork, but they've come out with an advertisement for pre-orders for the 30-year anniversary 4K restoration of Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, I'll own it again. Just take my money. It's fine. There'll be another version of it.
We're talking the OG with Johnny Depp.
Yeah, 1984. Yeah, 1984.
So they remastered it.
4K restoration, yeah. So I don't even know what it looks like. I just paid my money and I'll wait for it to arrive now.
Well, I can only.
I don't even know when it's out. I don't even know. I was like, well, no, okay.
I can only imagine that Robert Freddy is that much scarier and that level of high definition.
Yeah, you would think so. Can't wait. So
Here comes the
this one isn't.
nightmares again. Oh, damn it.
Sleep's overrated. Exactly it.
Take it. Take all our money right now. Take it.
Take my money right now. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happens. Yes, that's it. That's our movies for this month. All great movies. No weak link in any of them. I think.
Nope.
No. This was a high quality choice.
And Zombie Week's easy to get wrong.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of.
Well, we went
you know,
we went more of an unconventional style. I mean, it's very easy to do some of the classics, you know, like Dawn of the Dead and stuff like that. But people do those all the time. This one is, you know, unconventional rage zombies, comedy like Shaun of the Dead, a more serious comedy, but still a comedy like Zombieland. Then you've got Train to Busan, which again is not your standard like Walking Dead type zombie that you're used to seeing all over the place.
We should do A Quiet Place.
Hey, we got a recommendation from someone.
There we go.
There we go.
So A Quiet Place.
We got the third one coming soon, haven't we? Day one. Quiet Place Day 1. That's coming, I think, in a couple of months.
Oh, like the kind of origin.
Yeah, no Emily Blunt or John Krasinski this time, I think, funnily enough. But yeah, I'm more than happy to watch Quiet Place again and talk about it.
Alright.
I'm gonna go.
Thanks for coming, Scarlett. Love you.
Yeah, Scarlett.
Thank you, Sam.
Not a great problem. Thank you, buddy.
Signs. Oh my god, I haven't seen that.
We
were talking about something. Jinx.
We did talk about that one. That
Let's do
one
Signs.
for me. Let's do that because that one definitely has some really great moments in the way that the storytelling ability is one thing that M. Night Shyamalan does not lack, and his ability to tie things back and stuff like that. You may not always get fooled by the surprise endings and stuff like that, but the storytelling is literally just awesome.
Every month with Dashcam. Every month.
I mean, we'll have to do it. We'll have to do Dashcam at some point. I want to do Midsummer at some point too. I want to go into the.
Midsummer's great.
I mean, I'm like, I know Scarlett likes to participate with us, but also some movies, like Midsummer has some pretty wicked scenes. Exactly.
There's stuff that we won't let her watch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we can always make sure that we have at least one movie that she can review with us. But some movies, like I was looking at Midsummer earlier and I was like, no, don't worry, Rachel, I wouldn't let my kids watch Midsummer. So
too deep. That's traumatizing.
Nope.
To say the least. If we're gonna go with A Quiet Place and Signs, should we make next month Alien Night? So we could do Cloverfield.
Okay.
For example.
Okay.
And then as a fourth one, I don't know, something along those lines. So they're all sort of alien abduction or alien. Do you think Quiet Places are monsters coming down, aren't they? Signs is aliens. Cloverfield's an alien,
Yeah.
Cloverleaf. Yep. Maybe Fire in the Sky, or something, or a Fifth Kind, or a Fifth Kind, or something like that.
I'm trying to think of a good one.
Okay. Well,
we can always think and put it together. We'll put up a poster up there. The Baldwin movie.
No.
She said, "Wait, wait.
I'll find the right one.
Annihilate and
you on about the the Netflix movie? Yeah, the one that Alex Garland wrote. We were on about earlier. Started the thing. Annihilation. Natalie Portman. There we go. Annihilation. Yeah, that's a shout. It's a good movie. We have to get Rachel on as well one month.
Right.
Family affair. Definitely.
I keep asking her to come on to the podcast. She doesn't want to have to put on makeup.
It does take me a while. That's it, man. It takes a while.
Yeah, I know. This is like hours of work here, you know.
This isn't natural.
I got it.
This takes work.
I got it. Old school. Well, not really old school, but 1990s This is a cult classic film, The Faculty.
Yeah. Love it. Big fan.
I got it. I love that movie.
Okay. So what have you guys been up to? What have you guys got going on at the moment? Mel, your interview last night was a lot of fun. It was like a few old people and a younger guy.
Last night was pretty much all younger guys. They were all younger than us for sure. The drummer was like 16, 17.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Really
like,
young, right?
Yeah. So we're busy with the podcasts. Other than that, I've been going live on TikTok to sing.
Oh,
There you go.
In about an hour and 15 minutes, I was invited in a showcase that somebody else is putting up, and he invited me to go sing with some other people. So
love it.
we're taking TikTok one day at a time. Oh, and do not post this podcast on TikTok because they don't like it. They don't like any. I was accused of stealing somebody's material, my own material, my podcast. And TikTok banned me till 2099. They restricted my life.
Jeez.
So I'm trying to prove to them now that I am Melanie Nix from the Nix's podcast. Twitch, yes, I have Twitch going now. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch.
Yeah, I've been staying away from everything else. I haven't really been posting much to TikTok at all. I've been doing mostly Facebook, YouTube with some Instagram mixed in there, and that's about all I've been touching.
I've tried TikTok, but
now Rachel, if Rachel does have a Twitch channel where she like streams when she plays Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, nice.
The remake.
That's cool.
Nice.
And what's different about it is she's not using really guides. She's doing this all just playing through naturally. No guides.
That's really cool. You'll have to send me her link so I can go and follow her and go see her watch her play.
What do you play on Twitch, Mel? Or do you not use it for?
Right now, I just started Twitch, so I'm gonna start streaming on Twitch and on TikTok when I'm playing video games. I want to start Life is Strange all over.
Yeah.
One of my favorite games. So, yep. Keith, what have you been up to?
Well, still recovering from everything one day at a time. Still have a lot of work to do on my left shoulder. My wife will attest to that. She's been freaked out many days seeing the difference in muscle mass on my left side versus my right side. So working on that. Gonna start working out more at home to rebuild and stuff. But from just the other stuff point of view, so music stuff, not really halted. We're still releasing stuff on a schedule. I finished all of the orchestral music before I went into surgery, and that's all been mixed and mastered now. So I'm not sure when the game's gonna come out, so the OST for the game won't come to streaming until we have an actual release date for the game itself. With one exception. We did, for the game, we did an orchestral version of Starfall. So no guitars, heavy metal drums or vocals or anything like that. Just the orchestral arrangement with a new arrangement of orchestral percussion with it. Okay. And that's going to be coming out on the 1-year anniversary of Starfall, which will be July 28th. And then the week prior to that, on the 19th, Remember My Name will be coming out streaming for the first time, and that has Jessica Mercy singing as the narrator, and then Adrienne Jouadou, my French bass opera singer.
Already a year for Starfall?
That's crazy.
Already a year for Starfall. Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Fast.
The dragons, guys, the dragons.
2 years for Waiting for You. So our first single has been out for 2 years. But yes, the dragons, they are there. Rachel and I are going to be hopefully putting together a fun music video for that. So I'm getting Jess George, who plays the guitar on that song, and Adrian to do like playthroughs of the song, and we're going to try to put together a music video with those playthroughs of Remember My Name and get that one going. And then later in the year we have Children of Times coming out in September, Raise Your Fist will be November, and then Destiny Calling will be right before Christmas.
Busy.
Busy.
And
But,
all of that and recovering at the same time.
And I've already got 8 songs written for album number 2.
You're a superhuman, you know what I mean?
So, yep, I'm not missing a beat, and I've been rewatching wrestling. I've been rewatching The Walking Dead in my spare time.
Nice.
Awesome.
Busy. Cool.
Yeah, keeping myself busy.
Yep.
You're growing bones.
Yeah, that thing that you saw me take off in the middle of the broadcast, that is a cervical bone stimulator. So what it does is it creates like a radio frequency that apparently talks to the bone and promotes and stimulates the bones to grow faster.
Okay. Anything.
Literally Star Trek tech on my neck, basically.
Love it.
That's awesome.
And I will say that, so people like, I guarantee there's people out there that's like, that's bullshit. No, because I may not feel it for the first hour to 2 hours, but by the time hour 4, which is how long I'm supposed to wear it, comes around, I'm in a significant amount of pain due to it. So it's definitely working.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're looking better every time we do this.
It's true.
So, onward. Just healing and healing. Let's do it.
Onwards and upwards.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Well, we will be talking about settling on a date after the podcast, because that's always a little more complicated for us. But yes.
Yep.
She fed me finally. Yeah, it's Father's Day weekend, so.
Yes.
I'm actually, I haven't had mashed potatoes in like 6-7 months, so I'm getting mashed potatoes tomorrow for the first time in a long time.
Well, you won't sleep a wink tonight. Just pure excitement.
I'm prepared for it. I had like a shake and bake fried chicken tonight. I'm used to having a lot more vegetables and yogurts and all kinds of other things. Still do have a problem swallowing, so this could be fun.
Little bites. Take your time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can't sing. That's the other thing that's driving me insane is I can't sing. I've got no power. I've got no power to my voice. I can sing like bass notes and like do basic stuff, but as soon as I try to belt anything out, the sound just doesn't come out. My voice box is non-existent still.
So
I'm hoping that will come back. Yeah.
Oh, that's part of recovery.
He said 6 to 12 months for the voice.
Yeah, it's part of recovery.
Exactly.
Well, guys, it was an amazing night.
Indeed. If anyone's still with us, hit up our socials, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, we're all there. The Nexus Podcast, Nightfall Band, and the Halfway House of Horror. We're all doing things, we're all keeping things going.
I'm only 150 followers away from 3K.
Very nice.
There we go.
Very nice.
We're getting close. Share Nightfall. Let's go.
Absolutely. Mark is close to the 5,000, I think.
Yeah, closing in.
And I haven't been looking at my numbers.
It's it's been interesting the last few weeks. I've had
you've grown.
It's funny. Like I've gotten to the stage now where I almost know what movies are gonna hit. Like I knew Scream was gonna go over well. It was never in doubt. So yeah, I've got the 6th movie in the series that will be revealed out on Tuesday, and that's that done until the new one comes out. From there, we're going over to the Abaddon Hotel with the 4 Hell House movies, which are varying in quality but a fun time. As always, requests, I'm more than happy to take them. I'm more than happy to go through them and do them.
We still got to get Mel to record
Event Horizon. I'm never going to let it go.
We have to watch it. We have to watch it together.
Just watch it, all of us. It's fine.
We can watch it off screen, and then when we talk about it, we just bring like clips of me freaking out, like, look at Mel. Yeah.
And if that works really well, we'll find stuff even more depraved for you to watch.
Awesome. I love it.
Mel's movie reactions. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's
Well,
do it.
The house is going to YouTube. The house will be making its way to YouTube.
Good.
I'm not sure how yet, and I'm not sure when, but it's probably going to be with the help of AI, which I'm researching in quite heavily at the moment. But it seems to be the next logical step, really, to be honest. So
Well,
yeah, we'll see what happens.
There's multiple viewpoints on the use of AI in artistry, and
Yep.
I get the other side's, statements about it, but they are so afraid to embrace change that they don't even realize that they're going to end up getting left behind is the
Yep.
issue.
Yeah,
You
for
have
sure.
to look at stuff. You have to look at stuff. Think about companies like, hey, guess who I used to work for? Blockbuster. They had the opportunity to buy Netflix and go
Yeah.
completely online if they wanted to. They turned it down. Their company went bankrupt and
Yep.
went under, and Netflix is now one of the biggest in the world.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it's true.
Look at
Yeah, it's true.
Kodak. Kodak did not want to embrace digital photography. They said it was going to destroy photography.
Yep.
It hasn't destroyed photography. It's enhanced photography. And there are people who still do film. Okay, I get that. Actual film.
Well, you can't compare film and digital, just like you can't compare an artist doing something and AI doing something.
Yeah.
It,
So, from a musician's standpoint, everyone's afraid. Everyone keeps calling AI soulless and all this other stuff. Okay, I get that side of it. But the other side of it is if you have a trained musician using it as a tool to help them, I don't know, come up with a demo idea, it's not soulless because all of the ideas that are being prompted and put into it, and then the takes of the music that you decide to keep are all based on you and
Yeah.
your mind and your ear. So it can't
Plus-
be soulless.
people think that you go there, you say AI, okay, I want this. You have to be specific.
Oh, no.
You have to be very specific. If not, you're not going to get what you want.
With me, so some of the more craftier AI programs for music allow you to upload, like even you humming a track, like a melody, and then it helps you build the song from that.
Okay.
Really cool, right? So, I had some demo ideas that were done like really crappily on a keyboard, and I just tossed them in and said, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is what I want, and then I would generate something, and then there would be like 2 takes. If I didn't like either, I'd generate again, generate
Okay.
again, until it gives me something similar to what I already hear in my head. So the reason why I started doing that for coming up with some song ideas is because I can't sit in my regular chair for longer than an hour at most.
Yeah.
Right, and and the bench stool for my keyboard has no back whatsoever, so it hurts even more, a lot faster to do anything. But with the AI programs and tools and stuff like that, and that's what I'm using it as. I'm using it as a tool. I'm not going to be releasing this music as a finished product.
No, exactly.
Right? It's to get the idea down and get it into the direction that I want it to go. And then when I'm able to get back into the studio, the ideas are already concrete and solid. And then I can go and start mapping and tracking each of the parts that I would like to do. And that's how you can use AI to enhance the things that you do, not replace the things that you do, but enhance them so that you can get even better at your own craft. I'm not the greatest at writing stuff, so sometimes when I'm like writing like a paragraph, it may not sound really, professionally written or something like that. So you can take that, put that into, an AI program and say, hey, take this and rewrite it professionally. Boom.
Yep.
You can now sound a little bit better, but by doing that, and now you're rereading the results that you get, right? By doing that, you are also teaching yourself how to write more professionally.
Yeah, exactly. Like I say, you're not just using it to produce stuff for you; it's aiding you in the natural process.
Right.
I'm working with a studio, like a studio, a program at the moment that I found, which was highly recommended and free, which is great because I'm just experimenting. And this one is very much like Mel was saying, where you really have to do the work. You can't just click, a few word sentences into it. If I want it be the best version of something, I'm putting a whole review into it, basically. So I'm still doing the work. You know, it's not like I'm not doing the work. And then
But
it generates.
you might have AI rearrange a paragraph. Or
Yeah. But it only generates based on what you give it. You know, the more you give it, the better it'll be. So we'll see what happens with it. It's a ways off yet, that's for sure. But it is the next step in terms of for the house, for sure.
Most of the time when you're generating stuff, it's just a lot of the times it triggers something. Like it's there to give you an idea of where to take it. And like, okay, I like how it said this, but I don't like this. But now I know what I want to say, so I'm going to now re-edit it to what I want it to be. It's the same thing with lyric creating. Let's say as a musician, you're writing a lyric and you get stuck. You're like, good Lord, what should I write here? I can't find the right words. So then you type that into a chat GBT and you're like, give me some ideas for this line here that you've highlighted, right? And then it'll shoot out like 10 different things. And of course, none of it is exactly the way that you need it to be. But then all of a sudden, it sparks the idea that you need to complete the lyric. It helps you break writer's block. That's how you use AI as a tool.
Yeah, we are. We haven't said bye yet.
Good. I was thinking, are we still alive? Yeah, exactly. No, you're right there, Keith. It's a tool to be used in the right way. I think if you're using it just for it to do your job for you, then yes, it could be cold. But if it's enhancing the work and the talent you've already got, then so be it. Like you say, it's where the world's going anyway. So why not jump on board?
Look, AI is here to stay. It's used. It's technically been here for a long time. It's just gotten better and better and better. Many companies are using it in their chat programs for talking to customers. It's being used even in music software and writing software to help. I mean, if you think about it, Word documents with autocorrect on spelling and sentence structure, that's artificial intelligence doing that for you. It's doing
I use Grammarly on.
It's helping people. Like I'm on both sides. AI scares the living shit out of me. At the same time, I'm French Canadian, right? So when I write an English text, I don't have as vast of a vocabulary as other people would have in English. Well, AI makes me sound a lot smarter than I am. So I love AI for that sometimes. You know what I mean? Like it helps me like look a little more like I have a bigger vocabulary. I'm not using awesome 10 times in the same paragraph.
We've had job applications recently in my day job where they just look a bit cold, I guess is the best way of putting it. And we've asked the candidates directly, did you write this? And like, well, yeah, we did, but we did it with the use of AI. Not doing anything wrong. The information within it is factually correct. They've just used AI to map it out essentially. Yeah, exactly. So I use Grammarly, which is a checker in terms of punctuation, grammar, spelling, etc., etc. Does it catch everything? No. Do I always make sure I read back? Yes, but it catches a lot. I mean, there's it's one of those. So it's the way the world's going. So it's the next natural step in terms of what I'm doing. I think.
Don't get left behind. That's all I have to say.
Exactly. No, exactly. So. But it's all good. Guys, it's been a pleasure as always. And
absolutely.
It's
have
2
a great
a.m.
night, everybody.
Good night, Mark. I'm going to sing.
Night,
have a great weekend. Yes, and we'll figure out a date, and we will let y'all know. We'll post. Don't worry, we got y'all. Good night, guys.
See you guys.